Hey, what is up, everybody? This is the Great Puckettini, and I'm going to do a little different video today. Today, we're going to break down Coach Fouch's press conference today. Coach Pittman's been letting his assistant coaches each day after the first camp, day one, he's let some of the coaches each take a day, and today was Coach Fouch's turn. I just got through watching it, and I thought I would break it down because everybody, including me, is wanting to know, who's going to fill the shoes of Andrew Armstrong, and also Isaiah Sategna. We lost him too. Who's going to step in there and fill those shoes? Tesla. Who's going to fill the shoes for these guys? And I think Coach Fouch gave us some pretty good hints today at who that he thinks that will be. So this is Arkansas Razorbacks Fall Camp Day 4 notes with wide receiver coach Fouch. And I'm just talking about his video, his press conference he gave today. And the key players he highlighted today was Taylor Green, the quarterback, Monte Harrison. I almost said Marvin Harrison. Monte Harrison, Omega Blake, and Raylin Sharp. Those are the four that he highlighted today. So let's see what he said. Now, first off, this was about the wide receivers and quarterbacks. Didn't talk about anything else. I'm just picking on them today. We're going over them. Now, he said the focus was on precision. Today's practice was about route detail, quarterback timing with the receiver, situational work in the red zone, and third downs, which is a very important part of the game. And he also wanted to grow cohesion between the receivers and the quarterback. So that was kind of his focus for today's practice. Now, not really first off, but he talked about Taylor Green, about the leadership he's given. And he highlighted the chemistry with wide receivers, especially Raylin Sharp. He said that he thought they'd been high school teammates for a year or so. And that gave him a strong on-field connection through camp. And that's really big, because with them being transfers, they don't get a whole lot of time, which they've been practicing all summer. But anyway, having that prior experience with each other is very big, and that gives Sharp a big lead on everybody else. And he said, and Coach Fouch has said that's made for a strong on-field connection. And he said that Sharp and Green's chemistry gives us an edge, and it does. I mean, for sure. Sharp's one of those guys that could be that security blanket. He's kind of that slot receiver, and we'll talk about him here in a little bit. But, yeah, that's great. That's wonderful news for us. And I've heard Raylin Sharp say that it was just a no-brainer for him to come to Arkansas to play with Taylor Green, to play with Coach Petrino. It was a no-brainer, and I agree with him. It is. So let's go to the next one. Now, next he talked about, and this is not in any order really, is Monte Harrison. And he talked about him being a veteran leader. For those of y'all that don't know, he's a former pro baseball player, and now he's at Arkansas playing wide receiver, and I believe he's 30 years old, I think. He was praised by Coach Fouch today for his leadership, for his reliability, and his consistency in practice. He sets the tone for the younger wide receivers, and that's great. And, Monte Harrison, this may be his time to really step out and make some plays this year and be a player this year. One of the leaders, because he does have prototype size and speed. He's 6'3", 228 with a 4.48 40. I mean, that's prototype speed. He's a little bit bigger. Prototype size for receivers about 6'1", 200, 208, I think. They run about a 4.48. So he's bigger than the size, but he's just as fast. So, man, it would be great if he could step up and be one of those receivers. I think he could be one of those outside receivers, big, strong guy. So, for sure, that'd be great. All right, then next up is Omega Blake, and he talked about him making an immediate impact. He's also a transfer receiver. He's recognized for his leadership, his speed, and his technique and drills. Fouch said that Blake clicked early, and he brings great energy and focus, that he's a standout in the revamped wide receiver room. And if you watch my video either below in the comments or at the end of this video, I don't know where I'm going to post exactly, you can see my breakdown of Omega Blake, where I said that I thought he'd be our go-to wide receiver. And I still think he will, because at 6'2", 187, he also runs about a 4.48 40 is what they have posted, I found on the internet. He's like 12 pounds away from being a prototype size, and that's close enough for me. So I think he's right at that prototype size as well, and speed. And I think Omega Blake will be, or maybe lead us in catches. It might not be by a lot because Raylan Sharp's probably going to get a bunch too. But I think he's going to end up being our kind of our go-to main guy. But it may be Sharp too. I don't know. They may have two. And that's fine. We don't have to have one guy like Armstrong last year that just had so many catches. That way it's harder for the defense to stop just one guy. But anyway, I think Omega Blake's definitely going to be a starter and be one of our go-to guys. And then Raylan Sharp, I've been talking about him. You know, he's a slot playmaker. He transferred in from Fresno, I think it was the last school he was at, but he was also at Missouri State. And he talked about him just making an immediate difference, especially in the red zone and third down practice, which in third down situations, which that's what they worked on today, and said he really stood out today. He's had a strong rapport with Taylor Green all camp long, all summer long, and that, of course, gives him a leg up on, you know, like Cam Shanks, some of these other guys that might be playing that slot. But Raylan Sharp, he really talked well about him and said he turned short plays into big gains with that 4.36 40. I mean, he can really fly. I also have a video of him I'll post either in the comments or on at the last of this video. I don't know exactly how I'm going to do it yet. But anyway, Raylan Sharp was highlighted today as well, and I think he'll be definitely our starting slot receiver and definitely be one of our go-to guys as well. All right, now Coach Fouch then kind of ended. He said, looking forward, they're going to have continued emphasis on timing, precision with their quarterbacks. You know, try to get the timing down in Coach Petrino's offense. And the Great Puckettini, I'm expecting increased roles for Blake and Sharp in this offense. I've figured that before, but hearing Coach Fouch talk about it, you know, he's giving us hints and he's telling us he's the guy that's going to choose them. You know, and I think looks like Omega Blake and Raylan Sharp right now are two of our really go-to guys, along with Monte Harrison. And, you know, some of the tight ends too. But he didn't talk about tight ends. He just talked about receivers and quarterbacks. Now, his objective, he said, from looking forward is for sharper execution, maintain this chemistry they've built up, and prep for the season opener on August 30th, which is coming up pretty soon. And so I thought that was good stuff here from Coach Fouch, and I will have to end over here right there he is, and that was with him doing his video today's press conference, and he was the one that did it today, and I thought that was some really good insight. You know, Monte Harrison, Omega Blake, and Raylan Sharp. I think those three right now are kind of leading candidates to fill those shoes of Armstrong and Sategna, and I really think will be better. Our receiver position, receiver room, whatever you want to call it, is a whole lot better. There's just a bunch of receivers in there that can really play. I mean, I'm not even going to try to name them all because I think there's like 13 or 14 of them, and they all are really good size and speed. I was just going to look at the ones he talked about today. And that don't mean the other ones won't come on and get a lot of playing time too. They've talked about several guys that have had good days, so but I just thought that was interesting today. I thought I would share it with you. And that's all I got, guys. Just kind of a quick, different video. I've done about all the 2026 recruits as far as I know. I think I got everybody a video on them. If you see somebody I missed, tell me about it. Or if you'd like me to make a certain video, leave me a comment. I love doing it. And I thought that was some very insightful information. And that's all I got, guys. If you like this video, please hit that like button, the thumbs up, and then hit the subscribe if you haven't. It gives you, you see, like me, I'm subscribed to Hog Sports, and I need to like this video. I can't do it right now, but anyway, I'll like it here in a minute. And then that way you get notifications when I make new videos. And I'm going to try to make them every day. You know, like I said, I'm teaching right now, and so it's going to be a little bit harder to get them out, but I'm going to try to stay on it, and because I love doing it and everything. So thanks so much for watching. Thanks for spending time with me. Have a great day or evening, whatever time it is you're watching this, and please come back soon and watch some more videos. That's all I got. Let me see right here. That's all I got. Go Hogs.